I remember my first men's chorus sleepover, I guess, the first concert stayover, and had a young kid that was in the family that was the host family, and he had a pet rat. And I woke up in the morning with the rat sitting on my chest, little beady eyes looking at me. First stop ever. Down to the river to pray.
There was one Florida tour that we did in tuxedos, our penguin suits, if you will, and in 90-degree weather, things don't work well on a hygienic level. So we were in Georgia, and we happened to get a host family of two elderly women, super nice women. They were seniors. They shared some stories with us about their family, and they were showing us a photo wall. And they were kind of running down memory lane with each of the photos with us, telling us who these people were. But in the end, the tie of all the photos was everyone that was on the wall. And I'm telling you, there was probably 25, 50 pictures. They were all dead. And it was kind of eerie, creepy, whatever you want to call it. So we thought it was kind of weird. And I thought, this is too much for me. So I'm going to bed. So I go back to bed, I take my tuxedo off, and I'm telling you, I had swamp crotch like you wouldn't believe. So I thought, okay, it's all good. I take my drawers off, I get everything off, and I'm telling you, I throw my legs up behind me, my ankles are up by my ears, and I am scratching the hell out of my crotch. And all of a sudden, I hear a knock on the door. The door opens, and this woman catches me mid-stroke on the old crotch region. And I look over, and she looks at me and says, you going to need an alarm? And I said, no. And then the legs go down, and she shuts the door, and I throw them back up, and I keep going. That's just one of the reasons that you lock the door behind you.
Sing hallelujah, amen. Sing hallelujah.
Do you guys ever do bus aisle Olympics?
What is that?
Just different events you do on the bus. Like, see how many people you can jam between one seat, from the floor to the ceiling.
That sounds like it could hurt.
I know there's some people hurting on the bottom. Walk the aisle, holding up on the headrest. Only holding onto those as you walk down.
You guys look like you should be drinking Country Time lemonade on a porch somewhere. Holy shit.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks again for joining us for the great men's chorus video. We hope you've enjoyed it to this point. But tonight we have a special treat. As you may remember on one of the videos, you heard tales of the fabled Craig Howsam hide-a-bed incident.
Craig Howsam was my roommate. The last stop before we came back to Bowling Green was North Canton. So Craig and I were sleeping in this pull-out couch. And I think I did fall asleep. I didn't realize that the young lady of the family joined us. I think her fingers did the walking, and that was...
Well, tonight, here, live, we are so pleased to bring you not only the Craig Howsam rebuttal, real time, but here in the studio, we have an audience of men's chorus members that are here to witness it with you live. So please welcome tonight various men's chorus members here live in our studio. And without further ado, I bring you Craig Howsam. Now, Craig.
Yes, Tom.
You've become stuff of legend. I believe I can quote Brian Zatto in saying, you are his boy.
I don't know that.
Because you indeed got some hide-to-bed, flip-out action. On
Pretty much.
Tour of 91, what low were these 28 years ago?
Tour of 90. Spring of 90.
And
Yeah.
I'm glad you know that specifically.
I do.
Details are important, right?
I was there.
Tell me, you were how old when this occurred?
I had just turned 21.
Uh-huh, and she was how old?
16.
Yeah, 16. Wow, that's really something. So, as we hear the story, there was a hide-a-bed, and you were on one side.
Yeah.
Brother Scott Kelly was on another.
Yeah.
And then there was a squeezing action as you came together, and the host girl. What was her name, by the way? You can make it up. Shall we call her Destiny?
To me, it felt like it, sure. I was not a virgin at the time.
Bullshit! 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 Bullshit!
So, Craig, tell us in your own words. We know the Scott Kelly version, but since he was only one of 3 people that was there that night on the bed, tell us the story in your own words.
Well, we were in North Canton, and I wasn't attached at the time. She actually had a boyfriend, but I didn't care. So we got friendly and started to talk throughout the night, and Scott fell asleep, and we got friendlier and friendlier as the night went on.
I see, but the thing here is that Scott wasn't asleep. And apparently, he gave us a blow-by-blow, if you will. Tell us how that went, if you would be so kind.
Home run.
Close to a home run?
Yeah, close to a home run.
So are we talking, was it a...
The home run happened later.
So, do you believe this was her first time?
First time that night.
So, Craig, how do you respond to Scott Kelly that put all of this dirty laundry right out there in the very limited release film Critterfest 3 back in 2015? What do you say to Scott about that?
I'm a little surprised, but it's been, almost 30 years, so 28 years, so he is one of my best friends, so I forgive him.
That's very interesting because we have a surprise for you today. Because here in our studio audience is Scott Kelly!
It's pretty well established that in the state of Ohio, the legal age of consent is 16 years old. So, seeing that the girl came on to Craig, although that in itself is very bizarre, he did absolutely nothing illegal in this case. I'm not a lawyer, but I did watch a lot of LA Law back in the 80s. Based on my experience watching that show, I know exactly 2 things about the law: jack and shit. Unfortunately for the rest of the men's chorus, Ohio's age of consent law only applies to heterosexual sexual encounters.
To be honest, I haven't seen Craig probably in 14 or 15 years. He did get a hand job. It was awkward. She probably didn't know much more than what she was doing than he knew what he was getting.
Fuck all that. Let's start getting down to some shit. I never got a hand job.
Yeah! Yeah!
Ever!
Preach it!
So Craig, do you remember the next morning? Do you have any memory? I remember one, the scrambled eggs with the eggshells in them.
It's a very sucky breakfast.
It was...
But I didn't care. I had a great night, so I didn't care.
What I remember is that we had 2 performances that morning, 2 church
Yeah.
performances.
Yeah.
that we were doing.
He had 3 performances.
And she was...
But something happened on the bus. Well, so we get back on the bus after the concerts, and all the guys see her standing there, And all of a sudden I hear guys talking about what did Craig do, and they're in disbelief, and all of a sudden RD makes an announcement on the bus that I had a fling with a girl that's standing right outside the bus. And he's like, Craig Housum? No way!
Oh, that hurt. Oh, you are RD's bitch.
The next fall tour, my last fall tour, we somehow ended up back in North Canton, and it never occurred to me that we had been there in the spring. And we were at the high school that was hosting us, and all of a sudden I saw her mother, and she was looking at us, and I thought, oh shit, no, I'm not sleeping in that frickin' pull-out bed again, and God only knows what she was going to do. So I went to the men's chorus person that was doing the room assignments, and I said, whatever you do, do not put us with her.
From my personal experience and what I know about Craig Housum, there's no fucking way that ever happened. No way. The dude was a big fucking dork. There's no way any of that ever happened.
And so, children, to wrap up our story today, let's ask Craig, how did this all end? What else happened before destiny went her own way?
First of all, I felt it was a dream for me and a dream for her come true.
A wet dream?
So she told me she was going to break up with her boyfriend. So about a month later, after we get back from the tour, we started dating. We got together, literally.
Got together?
Yeah. So we dated for a while, and I gave him my class ring. Except a little while after that, about 2 months, everything came crashing down because she told me she was still with her boyfriend from high school.
That is unfortunate. Jerry. After the breakup,
Yes.
did you ever see her again?
Yes, I made a point to go to back to North Canton and get the ring from her.
Oh, was it clean?
Yeah.
Excellent. I think that just about wraps up the clarification story. I'd like to thank Craig Housum for coming on tonight and setting the record straight.
Not everybody knew the details until now.
And of course, our special guest, Scott Kelly, for bringing not only verbal but photographic proof of the event.
I don't think you showed the picture.
We gotta have proof.
I'm Herbie Versmells, coming to you live from Rebuttal Central.
Wow. Not that exciting, really.
No, but it's a classic.
That's a shit your pants moment.
It fits right in. And we're talking about hand jobs and Craig Housum and shit. That juxtaposes everything.
I roomed with Jeff Oxley for
That makes it
a few
real.
tours, and I remember one time
It does. It makes it real.